There was nothing like it in the world where it was really professionalizing running. There was a schedule, a day after day. There was support staff, massage therapists, active release therapists, sports psychologists. It just, I felt so lucky. I was the only woman, and really the only reason I got invited was because he wanted Adam. And he was like, well, and I also coach high school boys, and so that's relatable to what you're doing, you know. And it wasn't even insulting, really. It was just like, yeah, okay. I just felt like this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Like, we're going to be getting the best of the best. If we can't make it here, we aren't as good as we hope we are.
Yeah. Well, but there were red flags really early on. I mean, there was a photo that was taken when you set a personal record in the 5,000 meters, and the director or somebody, you know, of the race casually drops their hand on your breast, and it's in the photo.
Oh yeah.
But then how did Alberto react?
It became like a team joke, and whenever we take a picture, he would pretend to do it, and sometimes, I mean, he would do it.
And it became more than that. I was so upset to read this. I mean, I'm somebody who came up before Title IX. We had to wear tiger shoes, boys' tiger shoes, to go running. There were no women's running shoes, and we ran in the dark because you didn't want anyone to see you, or you're, you know, just moving around because there was no running bra and stuff. And to read how you were the only woman in the project, to see how you were talked about, your body was talked about.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting looking back, because at first I just felt like, well, I'm one of the guys now, and this is what you do. You just joke about this stuff, right? Like, I just go along with it. I don't like who I was during that time, but I felt like I'm so lucky to be here. You know, I'm the only woman here. They're taking a chance on me, and so just laugh it off. Just laugh everything off.
Yeah, the weight. Talk about the weight. Weigh-ins, public weigh-ins.
Yeah. To be totally truthful, my teammate, Amy Yoder Begley, suffered a lot more on that than I did. But we were all weighed in a lot in front of each other. She was the one that was treated the worst. Constantly comments about her body, her butt, this, that, calling her fat, which, by the way, she was like, not fat. And, you know, those are times that I look back and really regret, because I didn't stand up for her in those moments. I just watched her kind of be berated, and I just kept quiet because I didn't want to lose my place in the group.
Talk about this man who was supposed to be working with the runners.
Yeah, we had been working with an actual psychologist, and then he brought in Darren Treasure, and we were told he was a sports psychologist, and you had to see him to remain on the team. And so I started to see him. I'd always struggled with self-confidence. It was really my Achilles heel as an athlete, and I was excited to work with him. But it just, we would talk about things that seemed very personal, about my marriage, things like that, and then it would come back to me from Alberto. Yeah. So I started to realize that this wasn't one of those situations where everything you say is confidential. Like, this is a trusting space. It wasn't like that.
He wasn't a therapist.
No, in fact, he doesn't have a psychology degree. He has a physiology degree.
This is warped. And then Alberto Salazar also had this thing about knowing everything, and he was going to be sort of the team doctor, giving you things to use and take, and at one point putting a concoction on a very painful muscle, was it? Mm-hmm. Which led to burns?
Yeah, I had like second-degree burns. Like, I couldn't wear tights or get in a pool, or I was having some shin issues, and it turned out that I had compartment syndrome in my leg and required surgery, but we didn't know that. And he had said, well, if you can crush up aspirin, and then what they do with the horses is they put it on the body part, and then they put DMSO on it, and then that helps your body absorb it. So we'll just do that and wrap saran wrap on it. And it was burning so much. But like, I'll do what you tell me to do, because I want to be an Olympian. So if you tell me I need to leave this on my leg, I'll leave it on my leg. And finally it got to the point where I thought, like, I'm gonna die. And I took it off, and there was just blisters all over my leg. And
I'm screaming while I'm reading that part. Take that off! That's hurting you. Yeah. There's so many other things separating you from your family. You reading the book, it does start to feel like a small cult. You're not allowed to see friends, your family at Christmas. You're not allowed to speak to other runners. The Oregon Running Project, again, funded by Nike, so how bad could this be? Beautiful campus, beautiful facilities. But when you're traveling in competition, you're not allowed to mix with the other runners, and you can start picking up that they're looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, we never stayed at the same hotel as everybody else. When we were on Team USA trips even, we would often stay at a different hotel, but we were like, just eat with us, just stick with the group. You don't need to socialize. They don't need to know our training. And at the time, it's embarrassing, but at the time I was like, yeah. He's like, they're all jealous of us. Like, we have to stick together. And I was like, yeah, they are jealous of us, because we had so much. We had everything you could ever want at the Nike facilities. So, and we had the budget to do training trips and all of these things. So I was like, yeah, they are jealous and they are judging us, but of course, looking back, we were isolating ourselves. We were the ones that were weird.